welcome to another video. I'm glad that you're here, and today I just kind of wanted to talk about gardening. I made a gardening video a few months ago of us putting stuff into the ground, and a few months passed and here we are, and I didn't do anything with it. I've been really busy because gardening is no joke, along with house stuff and jobs and all of that stuff. It can be kind of consuming, but I wanted to take the time to just be able to chat and kind of show you what has happened over the last couple of months. I remember when we were putting things in the ground, I've really struggled with kind of thinking like, oh my gosh, everything is just gonna die and we're not gonna have any harvest. It's gonna get eaten by deer. The seeds aren't gonna grow. Like, I was just so afraid that it would all go wrong and we wouldn't get anything in return, because it was my goal to, or it still is my goal, to save up as much as we can to store for the winter time. And it's proven to be a lot of work, but it is so wonderful and so rewarding, and I feel like we've gotten so much out of the garden already, which has been really fun. And yeah, my husband has ended up helping me quite a bit with putting things in the ground and pretty much getting it started, and then whenever I'm out of town, he'll water it and kind of, we put a radio outside at night because we had someone who worked at a farm who told us the only thing that will keep the deer away is a radio. So that's kind of funny. But so far it seemed to kind of work. We had one experience with either groundhog or deer. We had such a hard time figuring out which one it was, who came in and ate up our cabbage, our fennel, and what else? Lettuce. But it all actually survived and grew back. Yeah, and so I'm learning so much. I really don't know what I'm doing. This is my first year with such a large garden. I've done like a small raised bed on my own, and then I helped my roommate a few years ago with her garden. We kind of did that together, but this is the first time that I've really taken on a garden, planned it, and then been in charge of all the harvesting and stuff. So it's been very exciting and rewarding. I feel like everyone should start a garden. But really, if you are like thinking about it and you're like, oh, I don't know much about it, I don't want to do it, I need to learn more, I would say just go for it. Get some dirt and some organic matter and some seeds and throw them in there and see what happens. You might be surprised, and it is super enjoyable. It gets you outside. So it's just been great. So I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to show you where we're at right now, and we are going to harvest a few things. So yeah. So I was just completely in shock. And so what these have, if you look underneath the branches here, you can see these. Let's see if we can focus on one of them. Right there. There's these little paper-like casings. And right now you can squeeze them and there's nothing in there. But this is what the fruit is going to be in. So tomatillos grow inside of this little casing, and when the tomatillos are ready, the casing will kind of split and open up at the bottom, and I'll be able to harvest them. But I don't know if you can see how many are on these plants, but it is insane. I'm gonna have my work cut out for me with this. I am planning on making salsa verde, and then my aunt actually just told me about, oh man, I forgot the name. It was like something with tomatillos, celery. It's like it's almost like a relish. So I do plan on making that and canning that as well. So that is going to be a lot of work, but I'm so excited and so grateful. And then right here are all my tomato plants, which is super duper duper exciting for me. I've really never grown, I grew tomatoes in that raised bed that I had one time, and I got like one tomato. But the thing here that I did wrong I didn't realize, I thought these tomato plants were determinate tomato plants, which means that they bush out. These are actually indeterminate tomato plants. So I should have been pruning these tomato plants much, much more. So I'm a little bit worried about if they will stay and keep growing and not topple over on themselves with the amount of branches that they have. If I have to, I'm gonna have to come in with a pair of scissors and completely cut off some of the branches that aren't the main branches. But we do have a decent amount of tomatoes on here right now. I wouldn't say they're like completely loaded, but they are looking good. We have Moscovich tomatoes in here, and then I can't quite remember what the other tomato is. Oh, striped German. So we have Moscovich and striped German tomatoes. I believe that these ones are the striped German tomatoes. And then over here, let's see if I can find one. Yep. Or no, maybe these are. You know, I'm not really sure. I'll have to figure that out. But this one is not doing so well. But you can see that there are bunches of tomatoes forming all over these plants. So we have some right down here. We have some right over here as well. Sun can get in there. And then we have our squash bed up here. I skipped over the celery. So we have a bunch of celery growing right here. It seems to be growing quite well next to the tomatoes. And the stalks are starting to kind of size up a bit. We're gonna let them keep going until they get pretty big. I've noticed that I think the celery likes a little bit more water than I've been giving it. I've kind of failed on that the last couple of days. And you can see our squash bed right here. We have some yellowing happening over here. I think it's because I haven't watered for a day and a half. Up here is quite dry, and the soil drains very quickly, so it does need more watering than the bed down there. But I've been really bad at it. But things are surviving still. What I didn't realize is that you can't plant squash plants next to each other. Guys, I planted this whole bed with 4 different kinds of squash, so we're gonna definitely get some mutant squash in here. They're probably gonna look strange. We have winter sweet, we have butternut squash, we have buttercup squash, and then I also added in some Provence pumpkins, which I am so excited for. That's this plant right here. They are supposed to be those huge, beautiful Provence pumpkins, like the pumpkins you would see in the French markets, all chopped up and wrapped in plastic wrap. I cannot wait. I hope they actually grow. I have some more actually down at this garden over on this end, one that is by itself. So if this one cross-pollinates and gets all weird, I can have some hope that the other plant will produce. So pretty much all the other squash plants have started fruiting, except for this one, but, whoops, that's a little bright. But I have noticed on this plant, we've started to get something. So, I'm listening to a podcast, and it's distracting. So, didn't get quite as many cucumbers as I thought I would today, but I'm definitely going to be making some zucchini bread, and I think I'm going to cook this zucchini up tonight with dinner because we're having our nephew over for a sleepover. And then the other two, man, I've been getting the prickly things stuck in my fingers so much, but I don't feel like wearing gloves because I'm a little lazy sometimes. And then with these cucumbers, I think I'm going to chop them up and put them in my fermented pickle jar. I make Shay Elliott's fermented pickles, but I've kind of altered things a little bit just because I do like more of a vinegar taste with my pickles. I don't necessarily love how the pickles turn out with just salt and water, so I can show you guys how to do a little bit of a pizzazzed fermented pickle that is really good. And then I'm just gonna eat these cucumbers. They're kind of tiny. They've been tinier than I expected. When you let them go and let them get too yellow, the skin gets a little bit firm, so it's better to pick them, I think, when they're younger. So we have a bunch that are growing and going, so we're probably gonna have to come and harvest them in the next couple of days. But thank you for joining me. I'm very warm and sweaty, but hoping that it inspired you to start your own garden, to show you that you can do it even when you don't know what you're doing, because it's true, you can. And I will be posting some this is my life. So thanks for joining, and I hope to see you back next time. Bye!